Your website could be the most beautiful. I said this last week on the show. You could win the world's best website design, but if you can't be found on Google, you don't exist. And the whole idea of having a website on Google is to get new business, I would think. And so what Jason is telling you here is probably even more, I would say it's more valuable than having a pretty website. Being found in those relevant keyword searches is critical, especially if you want to spend a ton of money trying to send traffic to your your website using AdWords or pay-per-click or whatever form you're going to use. So Jason, what's the next, if you didn't finish that, finish it please. But then if you did, what's the next step in the process?
So I would say simple. I mean, this is the on page could actually take some effort, and I am always like looking for low-hanging fruit, right? So you're absolutely right.
Hey everybody, I'm Ken Newhouse, and I'm going to welcome you to the Get Clients Now podcast, the show where high-growth consultants and professionals come to access the newest and most effective methods and systems for online marketing, advanced sales and persuasive communication strategies, and automated marketing funnels. And if you're wondering if the Get Clients Now podcast can help you get more high-value clients, enjoy more sales, build a massive tribe, and make more money, you're absolutely going to love this show.
Newhouse's work completely blows everything else that we've ever done with Google out of the water.
I have been looking for a way to grow my presence online, and what I've viewed from Newhouse's work was something that certainly is faster than anything I've seen before.
He says he's going to do something and he does it. He does it in the time frame that he says he's going to do it in. It's exciting when you talk about the results that you're going to get, and you can believe his word because he follows it up with action.
The Newhouse is direct. He's to the point. He tells you what's on his mind, and he backs his words up. From what I know now, from working with him, he's passionate about his work, and he backs it up 100%.
What I like best is you offer something that no one else has out there, which is a pretty comprehensive approach about marketing a system.
If somebody asks me, should they use Newhouse's team? Absolutely, because you're going to get the important information that you need very, very quickly.
On the internet, on the different marketing techniques, I've never experienced anything like this.
I would definitely recommend Ken Newhouse for someone who's serious about growing their business. I think that your results based on the numbers would at least double the sales in a very short time frame.
Hey everybody, Ken Newhouse here from kennewhouse.com, and I'm going to welcome you back to the Get Clients Now podcast, where the one-size-fits-all marketing model is dumb, the client-centric business model is king, and the sales control system gives you the tools to build your tribe with certainty. I want to remind you that MailChimp is now supporting the Get Clients Now podcast. With MailChimp, you'll find all your marketing needs in one place. Bring your audience data, marketing channels, and insights together so you can reach your goals faster. With MailChimp, you can promote your business across email, social, landing pages, postcards, and more, all from a single platform. Today is episode number 336 of the Get Clients Now podcast, and on today's show, I'm going to dive back into the interview I recently did with Jason McDonald. Jason, again, is the best-selling author of the book SEO Fitness Workbook, The 7 Steps to Search Engine Optimization Success on Google, as well as his book on Google AdWords, and his third bestseller, The Social Media Marketing Workbook, How to Use Social Media for Business, and each of those is an updated 2020 edition. And just for a quick reminder, on our next episode, which will be episode number 337, we'll be having Jason back to talk about social media marketing in today's environment in the year 2020, looking at that moving forward. Now, as you already know, not only is Jason a best-selling author, but he's one of the leading SEO experts on the planet. And on today's episode, he's going to give us a loud and clear warning about the growing Google trend that should literally terrify website owners everywhere. Now, before I bring Jason back in on the show, let me ask you a couple questions. Have you ever wondered why Google keeps pumping out algorithm updates? They keep making these changes. Do you understand what Google algorithm changes are all about? Well, if you're like me and if you're like my most successful clients, chances are the answer to that is no, I have no idea what these algorithm changes are about. I don't know how they work. Listen, I'm a high-level marketer. I'm a high-level direct response copywriter, and I will openly and readily admit that while I have a much greater understanding of SEO than the average business person, my level of SEO skill and information and knowledge as compared to, like, say, Jason's is I would be like a kindergartner and he would be like a PhD. In fact, Jason does have a PhD. And if you follow Jason at all, you'll know that he has admitted time after time after time that no SEO expert or content marketer can accurately predict what any of these future updates in Google are going to look like. And in all fairness, even a lot of the Google employees don't understand everything that's happening with the web's most dominant search engine. That goes without saying. But when you look at Jason's track record, And without question, in fact, this is the reason that his book is the best-selling SEO book on Amazon. Sold more copies than any other book. And the reason that it's the best-selling book on SEO on Amazon is because it's packed. It is jammed with methods that get you clients. In fact, he's going to actually reveal at least a half dozen of those methods, those strategies today from his SEO checklist. And that's the checklist that he's going to be unveiling and giving you on this episode that are guaranteed to help your website rank higher in Google search, which when you get right down to it, his SEO strategies are really high-level methods that get you clients, get you customers, get you patients, and they get them for you for free. But the fact is that you can actually have someone do this, invest the time on your behalf, utilizing his information, his book, the checklist he's going to give you on today's show, and you can make dramatic improvements in how your website ranks in Google search. Now, as he mentioned back in our last episode, search engines, and this is almost like common sense, but I want to remind you, search engines exist and they're built to serve people, right? And if you think about it, people change. We change continually and we change often. And as our behavior changes, technology has to evolve to keep up with our wants and our needs. So search engines, well, they have to change as well. So for example, a decade ago, we didn't have social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest to help funnel traffic to our websites. We also didn't think twice about mobile traffic or best practices for reaching searches that were like on the move, because those millions of searchers, they didn't exist. Now, fast forward to today, fast forward to 2020. Marketing trends, the strategies we come up with, the methods that get you clients, those are changing literally every day. They change literally overnight. What worked today in the trenches may not work tomorrow. What is Google's ultimate goal? If you think about it from a business standpoint, they want to provide the best user experience possible. That goes without saying. Think about that. If Bing had the best user experience possible, Bing would be leading search, but they're not. That's why Google actually controls over 90% of all search traffic across the globe. If you think about it, the fact that Google handles over 2 trillion with a T, over 2 trillion searches per year, that's about 40,000 searches every single second. So from the time I started this podcast until now, we're probably upwards in the neighborhood of 2 to 3 million searches that have taken place since I started the introduction to this particular episode. So even the smallest changes to their algorithm can have a massive impact on any given website. I'm talking about my site, I'm talking about your site, I'm talking about all of my clients' sites. So understanding how to play by Google's rules is critically important to having your website rank and rank high in search, in organic search in Google. And that's exactly why I brought Jason McDonald onto the show, so he could give us the ins and outs of what's current in Google and speak to us in a way that we can all understand and give us strategies that we as just regular marketers and business people and professionals can actually implement or give to one of our employees to implement. No, we don't have to be SEO experts. If that were the case, I would be in trouble as well. But the fact is, even I can implement these changes utilizing the methods that he's given. And he's actually broken it down and made it so simple, like I mentioned it last episode. So you could literally take his SEO workbook, give it to one of your employees, and have them implement this stuff for you. And when you do that, when you implement the things in his book, when you implement the things specifically he's going to give us on the show today, which contains over a half dozen additional elements or strategies, methods to get you clients on his 2020 SEO worksheet, right? When you implement those, it can make a dramatic and rapid improvement in how your website ranks. Now, I want to quickly mention something before I welcome Jason back in on the show. At the end of today's episode, I'm going to provide a link to a new article on my website, and hear me out because this is really, really important. It's going to be on kennewhouse.com. And on that particular page, the article page or blog page, if you will, I'm going to give away a bunch of free resources. Number one, I'm going to give you a copy of my book, Profitable Again, which sells for $29.97 on Amazon. Number two, I'm going to give you a copy of my second book, Sales Control, the one-page brand marketing plan for creating a culture of ravenous clients, raving fans, and repeat buyers. And number three, I'm going to give you a copy of the brand new and updated version of our video testimonial system, which is going to sell again for $497. I sold it for $997 when it first came out many years ago. Then I reduced the price to $497. Then I started just giving it to our members and all of our new clients, and I stopped selling it. Now I'm actually going to start selling it again. But before I actually start selling it, I'm going to give you a copy of it free. Now I'm going to give all three of those resources away, like I said, 100% free to the first 100 people who download the zip file, which is going to contain all three. Now again, there's nothing to buy. This is not one of those, hey, here's a free book or here's some free books, right? And then I pull a quick switch on you and ask you to pay the shipping. That's not the case. Nothing like that whatsoever. I'm not asking for any money from you whatsoever. Everything is going to be 100% free. And then I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to include one additional item on the page for the first 20 people. And this is actually part of a marketing test that I'm running. So here's how that's going to work. This marketing test is going to apply to the first 20 people who read that article, read a short story on that page, and write a motivational, inspirational comment at the bottom of the page. Those 20 people are going to get to attend the live sales control training. It's an online training, second week of June of 2020 this year. It's a $1,497 training. I'm going to let you attend free. Here are the directions. Here's how it works. The article on the page that I'm asking you to go to on my website, right? The article page that contains these downloads is a short article, a short story, if you will. When I say short, it's relatively short. It's about me. It's about how I experienced and overcame a near-death experience when I was hit head-on by a fully loaded dump truck. When I say fully loaded, 30 tons of asphalt in the back of the truck hit me and my Jeep Cherokee head-on. The story is about me, but also it's about you. The story is meant to motivate and inspire you in spite of challenges that you may encounter throughout your life, throughout your work. Now, as I said, the link on that page is going to be in the show notes, not only on iTunes, and it's going to be on my website, kennewhouse.com. And if you look at the top of the page under podcast, you'll see a drop down that says episodes, right? Click on that episode tab. Episode 336 is the first episode that should come up because that's the most recent episode. That's this episode. So if you go to that page with this particular episode on it, you'll see the media player at the top where it plays the podcast. If you scroll to the bottom of the page, that's where you're going to find a link to the article page where all these free things are available. All right, that's going to wrap up my house cleaning for today's episode. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and welcome Jason McDonald back into the show so he can reveal to us his SEO checklist for 2020 and beyond. So Jason, what's the next process? We have our keywords. What's the next relevant process in this? What's the next step?
Yeah. So just again, it's going to vary based on the kind of business you are, but let's just take dentist because it's an easy to understand example, right?
Yeah, we'll stay with that example. That's a good one.
That's a good one, right? Chiropractor, dentist. I think you mentioned some of the people are B2B. It's a little bit different, but just take dentist, which is pretty straightforward. The next thing I would think is think like a customer. So you go to your computer, right now, if you're driving, don't do it, but stop your car, go and put in dentist and nothing else, or dentist near me, and look at what comes up. And what you're going to see is ads at the top. That's AdWords. We're not talking about that. You're going to see the local path, which is 3 listings on Google My Business. And then beneath that, you're going to see your organic. Okay. Now, a lot of people ignore ads. I sell ads. I do ads. I know that. We're going to ignore that for now. It's got its own issues. Within that local pack, there's a lot of activity on that local pack. Okay, you're going to make an observation. There are going to be some dentists. There are going to be dentists that have 5 reviews, dentists that have 50 reviews, dentists that have 20 reviews. There are going to be some dentists that have 1-star reviews and some dentists that have 4-star reviews. The long and short of it is, most people will choose the dentist who has more reviews, or at least a sufficient quantity of reviews. And those reviews are generally 4- and 5-star reviews. If you have no reviews, you suck. If you have only 1-star reviews, you really suck, right? And if you have 3 and 4, you're kind of on your way. Okay, now we've realized people make the decision online largely influenced by the review count. Now we have an action item. We need more reviews. Ask yourself in your office, does anyone ever try to get reviews for us? Do they ever, if the patient's happy, hey, do us a favor, write us a review on Google? Or do you do nothing? If you do nothing, I guarantee you're not going to get enough reviews. So you have to kind of have a proactive, ask the customer for review strategy. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff down this rabbit hole of what you can do, what you can't do, et cetera. But just make the observation that reviews are very important to the decision of the customer, online reviews. Okay. Now, the other thing you'll notice if you dig a little deeper is to Google, the dentist that has more reviews is more likely to show in the local pack than the dentist who doesn't have many reviews. So it also helps you show on Google if you have a lot of reviews. And that actually goes for your reviews on Yelp as well. Now, the geographic proximity is important too. The closer you are to the searcher, that's very, very important. But the review count is very important. So here we have another action item what is our review strategy to get reviews without getting into trouble and going completely to the dark side.
Okay, so let's clarify that, because I want to make sure people don't do that. One of the things years ago that I did and is with our clients to help them get Google reviews is I had them have an iPad in their office that linked directly with, they had a review screen that would go directly to Google reviews. And then somebody said, hey, you probably shouldn't do it directly from your office because your IP address is going to show up and it's going to look like you're stuffing reviews
in the same device. Yes, that's true.
And cheating. So that didn't, I nixed that in the bud when the changes came about. So just talk briefly about the right way to do this, the wrong way to do this. And
so the easiest, most important thing to do is to ask people. So when somebody is happy, a mom or dad has brought their kid in, the kid had their dentist, kids are nervous around dentists, they have a good experience, just have a protocol of, hey, could you do us a favor? Could you write us a review on Google? And then maybe have an email with a link to your listing on Google. You can literally just Google your dentist practice name and send the link. You can shorten the link through like a tiny URL something, or maybe a handout. And then you're right, it's a little bit better if they go home and do it, or they do it on their own phone. Then definitely would want them to do it on your computer. But I find that most of my local clients are people who read my book who are local. The biggest problem, the biggest mistake they're making is they are not asking. And if you can do this, you can do a test. Read my book, send me an email, ask me a question, I'll answer a question. I will always ask you, please write me a review. Because I ask, and that's how I get the review count up on Amazon. It's just, hey, hey, there's the answer question. Do me a favor, write me a review. Now, you're going to ask 10 people, and 9 of them are not going to do it. But okay, whatever, right? That asking is the most important thing to do. And then the derivatives are like make a short email, give a handout, things like that. Incentivize your employees. Make sure that the receptionist or whoever knows every time you get a review, they get some sort of bonus. So incentivize the employees and not the customer. That's much less likely to be a problem. What you don't want to do is hire some outfit from the third world to suddenly create 200 reviews that originate in some third world country. That is an obvious sort of lie. That's going to get you in trouble. But just asking people is not going to get you in trouble.
So is it okay then if you were to ask your patients, hey, would you leave me a review? If they do it from their own smartphone, from your office, you're not going to get dinged for that? That's okay?
No. Where you would get dinged is if you have the same iPad over and over and over and over and over, and that would be more of a problem. And Yelp is much more serious about this than Google. But again, I guarantee you that the people listening to this podcast, 99.9% of them, their problem, they're not doing anything.
They're not asking.
Yeah, they're the granny on the freeway going 40 miles an hour. You are not in danger of getting pulled over.
Okay.
We'll work our way up to the Maserati going 110, but we're not even there, right? That's what most people are like, wow, I don't even ask people. If anyone tells you I'm really happy, ask them and then make it a little bit easier. Oh, I have an email that'll send you the link, and then that email's on their client and off you go. But that's the review issue, which for a local business is probably the lowest hanging fruit to work on.
Okay. And so then what's the next step? So we've got our keyword list built, or we've gone through the homework, and he covers all this in the book. Guys, I couldn't tell you in such amazing detail. It's like literally hold you by the hand. Yeah, it's like take a third grader and walk them through, and it's that simple. He's made it that easy. So now we've figured out the review process, which is really, I mean, if we gave you nothing else today, guys, that right there could dramatically change your business. But Jason, what's the next step in the process you're going to recommend?
Yeah, so a little zigging and zagging, right? So we zagged over to reviews. And the reason I mention that is I think people often don't think systematically. They don't look at it from the customer perspective and go, gosh, which pizza place are you going to use? The one with 2 reviews or the one with 50 or the one with, and they go, well, gosh, obviously, right? People just don't think. They just think, I have no idea how people make this decision. And then they go, well, got to order pizza in a new town, or I got to go to Timbuktu and stay in a hotel. I'm going to go on Airbnb and look at who's got the reviews. Well, hello, people. Reviews really matter. If you don't take anything else away, take that away, how important your review portfolio is. Okay, now second, here. I'm a believer in like obvious things, right? I always think sometimes, like, how do I make money doing this? Because I just tell people like really obvious stuff, right? So you want to rank for, Children's Dentist Omaha. Okay, here's a rocket science idea. Look at your homepage. Does your homepage say the words Children's Dentist Omaha? If it does, you're in good shape. If it doesn't, how about this is a rocket science idea? Write on your homepage the keywords you want to rank for.
Okay,
especially the cities like Omaha or the neighborhoods, or if you want to rank for dental implants or Invisalign or all the little variations, get those words. Right now we're talking super simple. Just get them on your homepage somewhere in a sentence.
So this was just my quick question, and maybe it's irrelevant, I don't know, but is there a difference between if you want to rank for Children's Dentist Omaha and then if on your homepage Children's Dentist in Omaha, if I put that word in there, that's different?
There is, but let's walk before we run, right?
Okay.
I can't tell you how many people come to me and they go, wow, our website really sucks. We don't rank for chiropractor Milwaukee. And then I look at their website and the website says, chiropractor is adjusting the bones to make you feel better, blah, blah, blah. There's no mention of the word Milwaukee or chiropractor on the website. And you're like, well, of course you don't rank. Google's not a mind reader. You've got to tell it what you want to rank for. So that's why you take your keywords and audit them, and then look, just simple stuff. Look at your homepage and just the visible text. So here's another like mind-blowing idea. Most people search for best dentists, top rated. Nobody searches for worst dentists in Omaha, right? They search for best or top rated. There's no thought police at Google that is really, hashtag fake news, right? There's no one policing this.
Right.
So on your homepage, put a sentence like, we strive to be the best dentist in Omaha, or we strive to be one of the top rated specialists in dental implants. And literally putting best, top rated on your content will help you rank for best, top rated. Another one that's actually seen, I read all the stupid blogs, the whole dentist near me. They actually did a study, and websites that say near me on the website rank better for the phrase near me. Which, if you think about it, it's really ridiculous.
Yeah, that's one of the strategies I have is when I have blog posts written for our dental clients, that's one of the titles of the blog post.
Yes. I mean, it was like
dentist near me, and then relative to the city they're in, and it always ranks very high in the page because there's nobody competing. Yeah.
It's easy. So that's why I would do that. Now in the book, I explain like page tag structure, title tags and header tags and image alts. There's some HTML tag. And all of this goes under the rubric of what's called on-page SEO, which is really easy stuff. It's foundational. Building a website that speaks Google, that talks to Google. So that's your foundational on-page. The long and short of it, I think, is know the keywords, put the keywords in the visible content, especially on the homepage, and then I would optimize my title tags. If you want to get a little techie, go and look at the title tag of your website, and if it says home, then take out your shotgun and shoot yourself in the foot. It shouldn't say home. It should say something like Bob's Dentist, Omaha's best dental implant center, or something like that. You want that title tag to regurgitate the target keywords. And again, the book and all that stuff explains there's a lot of details here, but most people have done a very poor job of the optimization of their website versus the target keywords.
Okay, just let me throw this in and answer it however you want. I'm assuming, just based on my experience, that most people who listen to this show don't know how to do these. They don't know how to do image alt tags or title tags. They don't know how to do that. So if they're using like a WordPress website, are there any plugins that you feel comfortable suggesting that might make the job easier for them?
So if you're using Squarespace or WordPress or Wix, these dominant platforms, they all have ways to do it. So let's say you're using a proprietary platform like Squarespace. So you can look at their help files. How do I change my title tags? Or you can call up their help center and say, I want my homepage title tag to say Omaha's Best Dentist. How do I do this? I'm a huge believer, if you know the question, you can find the answer. Now in WordPress, you're right, there's a plugin called Yoast, Y-O-A-S-T. It's the kind of industry standard plugin. You put this plugin on your into your WordPress, and it allows you to optimize the title and meta description tags. Super easy. And that's what you do in WordPress. And again, let's say you don't understand how to do this. You go to your web guy or gal and you say, how do I change my title tags? And oftentimes they'll go, oh, here's how you do it. And you're like, well, do we optimize it for the keywords? And they're like, well, no, I wasn't paid for that, or I didn't think about that, or wasn't my job, so I didn't do it. So you kind of have to dialogue with whoever is your resident web nerd and say, I want it to do this. And oftentimes the web development community, they're very visual, so they don't focus on the words.
I couldn't agree more, and I'll just throw this in quickly. You guys have heard me tell the story of David, who's in Oklahoma City. $3,000 for the setup fee as a dentist, a 3-year non-cancelable contract, $900, I'm not stuttering, I'm saying this correctly, $900 a month for hosting if he wanted to add any content in the form of blogs, images for like an image gallery, patient testimonials on video, anything extra. That $900 fee went up dramatically, but, and I think I told you this, Jason, his website for dentist, just generic searches, he didn't show up in the first 5 pages of a Google search. There were actually, when I pulled up his name, I pulled up his name. With a DDS after it, there was another doctor who was a podiatrist in a state in Indiana that actually ranked higher in his Google search than he did. And so you got to be careful who you hire to build your website, because a lot of these people might be able to build a beautiful looking website. But as far as your website could be the most beautiful, I said this last week on the show, you could win the world's best website design. But if you can't be found on Google, you don't exist. And the whole idea of having a website on Google is to get new business, I would think. And so what Jason is telling you here is probably even more, I would say it's more valuable than having a pretty website. Being found in those relevant keyword searches is critical, especially if you want to spend a ton of money trying to send traffic to your your website using AdWords or pay-per-click or whatever form you're going to use. So Jason, what's the next, if you didn't finish that, finish it please. But then if you did, what's the next step in the process?
So I would say simple. I mean, this is the on page could actually take some effort, and I am always like looking for low hanging fruit, right? So you're absolutely right. This whole semantic word, one of the big mind blowing things about web design that people don't realize is that the graphical look and feel of the website has nothing to do with the linguistic semantic structure that helps it rank. So I'm a word person. I can't draw for the life of me, right? I do words all day long. So the people that make it pretty are not usually the people that got A's in English. The people that got A's in English, like me, we're not the people that make it pretty. So what you want is a person or a team, they know what they do well and they know what they don't do well. So your web design team, it's okay if they don't do SEO, but what you don't want is some knucklehead who thinks that they do know how to do it and they don't know how to do it. And it's easy to tell if they know how to do it. Are you ranking? Yes or no? If you're not ranking, something's wrong. If you are ranking, then okay. In your example, the guy doesn't rank. Well, we've got a huge problem here.
This was after 13 months had gone by. 13 months.
Exactly. So that's kind of, maybe that's an aside you could think about as some simple testing. Now, obviously, to rank for dentists in Omaha or whatever is more difficult. But if you don't rank for your own name, right? Hello, Houston, We've got a huge problem. You know, if you're John Finkelstein dentist and you don't rank for your own name, this is a problem. So I would say start to measure your rank. And again, I have tools in my book that can measure your rank. You want to have a really huge fun tool. There's a tool called Mobile Moxie, which has a free 5 free searches a day, I believe. And I have the paid tool. And that tool is really slick because it allows you to move your location and pretend like you're on a phone. And you could do it down to zip codes. So you can just move around zip codes and put in dentists and see where you rank or you don't rank. So you want to start measuring, are you going in the right direction? Just simple in terms of the rank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then reviews we've touched on, I would definitely do reviews. I would say the next thing to do would be to do a link audit, which would be links matter to Google. They're like votes. So if the National Association of Pediatric Dentists links to you, they have a little blurb on their website, and that's a link from them to you. Google interprets that link as a vote that you are important. That's the long and short of it. It's like links are like votes, hopefully not like votes in Iowa, but like votes in a normal place where they actually get counted on time.
They still haven't actually come out with that data yet. So look,
we're recording this on the date of the Iowa train wreck, right?
Yeah, the day after the train wreck was supposed to happen. So yeah.
So links are like votes in a good sense. So then you flip that around, go to Google and put in Directory of Dentists, Small Business Directory Omaha. The directory links are really important and pretty easy to get into. Association of Hispanic Dentists, Association of Hispanic business people, like whatever your flavor is. Go and look for most of these associations and directories. If you join them, you pay them $100 a year. You have a listing. In the listing, you say, I'm Omaha's best dentist. And then you have your web address in there, and that directory link links back to you. That is directory link building in a nutshell. And that's the next thing I would always do for especially a local client.
And this is all stuff that he covers. And he covers it. I mean, he's just really making it even super, super, super simple now. But I mean, there are some steps in each process that are all easy. But Jason, you cover all this in just infinite detail.
Yeah, I always try to, I always think to people, like, once you know the simple idea, hey, reviews matter on the internet. Now we have all of our drill downs, but how do I get reviews and what's the strategy and how do I make a handout? I mean, there's not enough time to go into all the details, but the first thing you have to know is what's the kind of big picture thing that I need, right? So I would say on links, the big picture is just literally go and Google Directory of Dentists, Directory of Pediatric Dentists, Directory of Omaha Businesses. Look for these basic, and here's mind-blowing concept. The directories that rank high on Google, those are the ones you want to be in. Those are the ones that Google knows about and cares about. So if you Google Directory of Omaha Businesses, those directories that occur on that first page, for all intents and purposes, those are the key directories. Very simple. Get out your wallet, find the ones that, $100 you get included, and do that. So I would do some directory link building.
Okay. So let's do this. If it's okay with you, let's do one more thing for SEO, because you've given literally, it may not seem like a whole bunch of things to do, but if people would just do these things, their rank would improve specifically, dramatically, I would think relatively quickly. Usually
very quickly. Usually the good news, I always tell my clients, like, there's good news, bad news. So the good news it's kind of good news, bad news, right? The bad news is your website sucks, right? The good news is your website sucks. The easy thing, we can fix easy things and it'll make a huge impact. Like, it's much harder if you come to me and you're doing so many things right and you're really in a very competitive industry. Most of us, it's like a horse race among old nags that are nearly ready for the glue factory. And we just have to be a little bit better than the other people who aren't that smart, right? So it's good news for most of us. We're not like personal injury lawyers, that's one of the most difficult ones. But dentists, no offense to dentists, their websites generally are not particularly good when it comes.
They're not. That's what I've been trying to tell people. They're terrible.
They're not. So you can just be a little better and you'll improve. The other thing I think like high level things, here's what I call the mom experiment. If your mom's still living, if not, choose someone, your mom, girlfriend, whatever. Choose someone, sit them down in front of your website and ask them, what's the next thing that I want you to do? How do you contact me? How do you make an appointment? What's the next step? And so many times people land on a website and they're like, what's the phone number? I don't know. How do I send a message? I can't find it. Is there a free consult, for my dental implant needs? Yes or no? If it's really difficult for that person to find the contact us button, or if your phone number is not emblazoned on the top of your website, make it obvious, because most of these websites, right? Dirty secret of website design for dentists.
They're templates.
Nobody wants to read these websites. Nobody's going to read it. They're going to look at your reviews. They're going to see you do what they do. And then it's going to be a phone call or a web inquiry. So the question is it easy to find that? Yes or no? If it's not easy to find it, they're going to leave. That's why I'm saying take somebody who didn't design the website, AKA mom, and say, Mom, how do you find the contact? And you see your mom squinting at the website going, I don't know. Not good. You want a big, garish, red.
That's what I tell. Absolutely.
Here's my phone number. Here's my free consult.
Absolutely.
Contact us. I hate to say it, but those pop-up things are annoying, but they do work. 15 seconds into it, free consultation, something that is very non-threatening that will convert a web visit into a phone call or a web inquiry. So audit your website is the action. In the marketing speak for this is the desired action. Is it obvious? If it's not obvious, make it obvious.
So you're saying, I just want to do one quick follow-up question, then we'll dive into SEO if you're ready. But so you're saying social media. So you're saying then, Jason, that pop-up zombie face that years ago people had a video that would play, and I even played the joke on my mom. I'm like, hey, listen, I just got contacted. I feel bad doing it, but it was great at the time. I called her and I said, hey, listen, I've got a chance. I've answered a question. The radio station, they've got me on the other line right now. I've got to find this thing on this video screen. I can't seem to locate this object. If I find it, I win like $10,000. And so she's looking on her computer. And the zombie face, the one I'm talking about. So we don't want to use a pop-up with a zombie face. We want something that's just relatively laid back. Okay.
Yeah, I've got to go because the IRS is coming to arrest me in a few minutes. But other than that, yes.
Exactly.
Where we are, right? But yeah, something, you have to work with your brand. But here's where I think people often in website design, the ultimate goal of most of these websites is sales leads, is inquiries.
Right.
So I look at it in a very hard-nosed, non-emotional sense. Is whatever I'm doing generating leads? Yes or no? If it is, it's working. If it's not, it's not working. So if the website is aesthetically beautiful, but it doesn't generate leads, that's a failure. If it's looks like Craigslist and is horrifically ugly, but it generates leads, it's a success. And I think that's where people often fall in this trap of, I don't want to pop up because pop-ups are annoying and ugly, or I don't want a red button because red buttons are ugly. It's like, is this an art contest? Because I thought we were trying to get leads.
See, that's how I look at it. But unfortunately, there are some professionals, and it's not just dentists.
No, it's across the board. It's not just dentists. It's just people fall into this trap of that this is an art project.
Yeah, it's not. It's not at all.
It's not an art project.
It's about making money. You're in business to make a profit on purpose.
It's about making that person who, you got to realize the person is looking at your website. The phone is ringing, the baby's crying. They've got a million. If it doesn't say, contact us for the free consult, they're out of there. They're gone. Right. You got to make that easy. And that's not really an SEO issue. It's a web design issue. But my clients, whatever, I try to really get those obvious. And obviously, I'm not saying ugly, but work within your brand so that it's easy and obvious for the user to go, this is the next step. Come in for the consult.
Okay, that's going to wrap up my interview with Jason McDonald on SEO strategies for staying ahead of Google and getting a leg up on the competition. And before I go, I want to remind you, make sure you visit kennewhouse.com. Look under the podcast tab at the top of the page. Once you click on that, you'll see a drop down that says episodes. Click on episodes. That will open up a page with all of the recent episodes. You want to click on episode 336. And if you scroll to the bottom of that page, you'll find a link to the article page that contains my story, a couple of graphic pictures, and the links for my books, Profitable Again, Sales Control, and the new and updated version of my video testimonial system, which is going to sell for $497. Yours free, no strings attached. First 100 people get that. And remember, if you're one of the first 20 people to write me an inspiring and motivating comment in the comment section on that page, not the episode page, not the podcast page, on the article page. If you're one of the first 20 people, you're going to attend Sales Control 100% free. And then one last thing before I go, I'm going to remind you that we're going to be doing an awesome show. I've already done the interview with Jason in our next show, which is episode 337 of the Get Clients Now podcast. And that show is entirely dedicated to social media marketing. And again, Jason not only has the best-selling SEO book on Amazon, he's also got the best-selling social media marketing book on Amazon for the last 3 years running. So if you're interested in learning more about social media and how that can actually benefit you and your business, you definitely want to be here for episode 337 with Jason McDonald, where we're going to again talk about social media marketing.
Our objective with this podcast is to help you and your business stand out in the marketplace by crystallizing your messaging, marketing, and communications. On behalf of the whole Ken Newhouse team, thanks for listening.